Another day, another episode. What's up, brother Hira? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's been a good day so far. The weather in New York has been pretty warm, hitting like 70 degrees some days. Still
Yeah,
fluctuating, but can't complain. I'm glad to get out of all the 30-degree weathers that we've been being
yeah, we've been
entertained with
having,
this
man.
year.
Man, the snow. I remember the snow and stuff that like I have to, like I had to clean, and we talked about this right in the past, and it was. I don't miss it. Basically, I don't miss it.
I
What do you
think
think of this?
it was on record that this was the 10th year of one of the largest winter storms in New York. And someone did some analysis where they said every 10 years in New York City, we get the largest winter storms.
Yeah,
And they
I
were
think I
right
saw
on
that.
point. Like 10 years ago, 2016, and then 2006. Hopefully, if it's a 10-year cycle, I'm good with it. As long as it's not an every year thing with
Kind of thing. Yeah,
shoveling what 2 feet of snow, like 18
it,
inches
it,
of snow.
it
I know
feels
for
like it.
some
Yeah.
that's normal, like up north, but for us New Yorkers, that really
I mean,
slows us down.
we we get 4 seasons in a day sometimes. You know that, right? Like, our weather has been bipolar. Like I call it, it's
Yes.
bipolar weather. But yeah, what you see me change today? I'm different. See that glasses, hat, hoodie, like different from the last episode.
Yeah, yeah, I see. You're representing your background,
More, more, more,
your background for
more,
where you came from, the Bronx
more New
now.
York. More, more New York. More New York. Yeah, speaking of background, man. Crazy stuff happening this week, right? Like I don't know if you like been watching the news, social media, and all that stuff. I think it was yeah this week where they went to the Supreme Court talking about ending the birthright citizenship thing. I don't know if you saw anything about that,
Yeah, yeah.
or if you like just even
It
read about
was
it. Like
at least it was all over my
I'm seeing it on
phone's
my phone.
news feed.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh, Trump apparently is normally, it's an unexpected thing, but our president actually went and showed himself for this case. It's not a normal occurrence for a president to go join, but it was a big deal for him. And they obviously what they're checking in this case is in a sad way, and it's unfortunate that they're trying to strip kids of their
My
citizenship if
citizenship.
their parents are undocumented.
That's
So
crazy.
if you have undocumented parents, even though you were born here, they're trying to strip your citizenship, and then obviously there's a debate of like, well, where do they
Th-
go?
yeah,
If
yeah.
they lose their
But
citizenship.
that also goes
Yeah.
against the constitutional rights, right? Like that speaks like this is gonna open a whole can of worms, but that goes talking like I think it's unconstitutional. Like yeah, I mean, that's
That's what's being tested. It was recognized that America it has always been since its founding a place where you come to, and if you spend your time here and you do your due diligence, you either get your citizenship through a process they have built in here, but by default, if you were born here, no matter what, that was free citizenship. And you've probably heard stories where people like fly through and fly to the country, and it just so happens that their kids are born on the plane, and because they're over the country, they're Americans. And that's something that it made sense to me always. Like, you're born
there's
in
a
the
lot of
land,
debates.
you're a
Yeah,
citizen of the land you're born in, right? But yeah, that's being challenged now, and it's very unfortunate. It's very it doesn't make any sense. But obviously, we have people with agendas, right? Bad agendas where they're trying to. It's kind of alluding to our recent episode as well. They're trying to do this whole culture war thing and make one race, unfortunately, be the
speak your
ruler
mind, brother.
of all of us.
Speak your mind, brother. Say what's on your mind and your chest.
Right?
Say it with
It's
your
like
chest.
white dominance, unfortunate, right? That's the
Damn.
game that they want to play, white dominance.
Brother, hold on, we don't want to get canceled before we get started. We love all races. By the way,
I
for those of
mean,
you, we're not
it's facts,
nothing
right?
against anyone, but it's yeah, you're right. Yes, I agree with that.
No, we
Yeah,
have friends of all cultures and backgrounds as New
absolutely. Yeah,
Yorkers, right? Like that's something that I don't shy away from. We're all the same. We're all equal. We all want the same thing, and we all want to be proud and happy of each other and live harmoniously, right? Like that's the goal. So whenever I see things
hold on one
that
second,
want
brother.
to
Just
derail all of that, it's just like, what's the matter
what
with you? Right?
what my brain automatically the comedy side came on, and when you said harmoniously, I was like, what kind of living are we trying to do here? Okay, But anyway, sorry. Go ahead, continue. I apologize
You
for
hold
interrupting.
hands and those pictures with the globe where you hold hands, all the different ethnicities are holding hand in a circle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
harmonious.
You're right. You're right.
You have
Yes, you're
someone
right.
wearing a hijab, selling, whatever biased things you could think of the different cultures and like as well as their attire. That's what it means.
I was thinking of something different. I apologize. It's been a long day. It's been forgive me. It's been a long day.
You know what's
No,
interesting
but
though? So going back to the case, right?
yeah, yeah,
So I was digging into it a little bit just to find out, and the lawyer that Trump hired was questioned to say, all right, let's entertain what you guys are trying to do, right? What are we going to do with the Native Americans, right?
yeah.
And his
And that's a
response was, well,
whole
there's a
topic.
statute that protects them. They're Americans, because of that statute. But they're like, well, let's ignore that statute that's available there now. And based on the rules that you're trying to apply, how are we going to treat them? Because they are, you could say whether they're called undocumented or documented, like where do they fall in? And the guy had no response to it, like no proper response. And he was like, he had a total shutdown on that question from the judge. And I was like, yeah, like they're not even doing like their due diligence on
I mean, I think they
the
just
the
don't care.
diversity of America, right?
They
It's
just
more
don't
like,
care.
okay, we know they're targeting certain ethnicities, right? Certain people, certain countries, but then they forgot what makes America, right? Who was here in the first place?
Brother,
And I was just like, thank God
they
there
don't
are,
care.
yeah,
They,
thank
they
God there are
don't care.
judges that are being critical, right? They're not bought out. At least I hope
Oh,
not.
like, yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Trust me, I get it. You know what? Speaking of judges, so one thing I'm gonna I'm just curious on this, and I'm gonna let me say what I think about this. So, like judges, right? So, presidents, not I think, they get elected every 4 years, right, and things like that, and the Congress, they get elected every couple of years. I don't remember. I don't know if you know this. I don't know how often judges get elected. I think it's once you're elected, you're through. But one thing I do want, speaking of judges, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this too. But like, what I think is like, first of all, I think any government official, any kind of official who is representing a group of people should be up for re-election as much as possible, right? Like, I think the 4 years is okay. But I think there should be like a midterm election for presidency, which there isn't, right? There's no midterm election for presidency. It's just like every 4 years and stuff like that. And so like
The
I think
midterm, like what, to like reapprove for them to remain for their four
yeah,
years? Like, what are you
yeah.
saying?
I think they should be nominated by the party again after 2 years to say, okay, like we want you to continue running. That's not the case now with the president, right? Like once you're elected, you're the
The
president for
stamp
four
of
years.
approval kind of
Right.
concept. Like,
From
yeah, we
right,
approve.
like
But then you're kind
from an
of,
assessment.
that's what the 4 year mark is, right? The 4 year mark for presidency
That's too
is
long.
similar, right? Where they
Habibi,
give
look
the
what
stamp of approval
we
to
got.
run for another 4 years, right? Because you
Right, but
could
like
run for
that's too
two
long.
terms.
Yeah, but that's too long, right? Because look, this is year one of our boy. Well, not literally our boy.
Right, you want to shorten it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right. But
think it
like
should be shortened.
it's year one, and look, imagine what happens after year three, right? Like my point is what I was going to where I was going with this was, I don't know if you saw, like there's a new law, or they're trying to make this into a law, where in the state of Mississippi, I think, and the state of Florida, I read it somewhere, they are you can't vote if you're not a citizen because you know like I don't know if you saw that.
Yes,
But that's
yes.
crazy.
Yeah, so now are they targeting your citizenship, right? So that they could deport you. They are also they are also trying to target your voting capability, so that way you have no say in anything, right? And it's very unfortunate, like that it was successfully passed into two states, and if this virus spreads, and I thought, and that's where I guess sort of was alluding to earlier with the judges, right? Judges for judges to approve that in their local state, I feel like they're bought out, especially with there's this understanding in the US that we're all have, if you're documented or if you have proof of your rights for living there, whatever it might be, your residency, that you have the right to vote, especially if you're a taxpayer, right? I don't know why they don't go ahead and say things like, well, if you're not they could change it. Like, if you're not a taxpayer, you don't contribute, you are living illegally, etc., right? You could, so I'm not saying like it's a free for all. And I think that's something we need to make clear. You could come up with standards and, some sort of rules to say, all right, you have the right to vote if you are if you are contributing to our society. Maybe also, like, if you're a bad guy, if you're a criminal, if you're in prison, I don't know if they have the right to vote. I'm not really sure. Maybe they're not allowed to because, well, we don't want you, voting because you didn't benefit society, you harmed it. So
Yeah, but
there are
goes
so many
against the
better criteria they could come up with.
Yeah, but that goes against the constitutional right, right? Like a vote, the commandments and the amendments. I think that's a human right. Those are rights of an American, right? So like I don't know, like with this administration, I've seen a lot of laws break, right? Like they've broken a lot of laws. They've done a lot of things that they're not supposed to. So now it just goes back to I'm questioning, like, I mean, what do we consider a human right versus basic right versus constitutional right? Like before they were all the same, but now it feels like it's not.
It's definitely not. That's the challenge, right? What we thought was concrete and set in stone is no longer concrete and set in stone, because when you have the presidency and all of the Congress and all of the groups that are supporting him challenging it and being able to sway the judicial system, that is bothersome. Like, I learned from one of my friends, actually, and I never knew this, that for a judge and to answer your previous question, yes, once a Supreme Court judge is nominated, they are there till they retire. They choose to retire, they die, right? So it's sort of forever. And in order to become a judge, right, in even our New York City court system, you actually have to be partisan. You have to be nominated by either the Republicans or the Democrats. I was totally like, that totally caught me off by surprise. I was like, what? Like, why does a justice? Because what ends up happening is, and I don't know the exact details, right? But someone from the city, someone federally or from the city, needs to approve that judge. And that person is already politically affiliated or aligned with someone, right? And they're going to have affinities towards certain types of laws that they prefer and certain types of laws that they don't like. So they're going to approve judges that are in line with their sort of perspective. And I was like, hold on. For me, the way I see the justice system is, you're supposed to be moral, like the highest moral ground, right? You're going to apply unbiased rule of law, right? Based on your understanding, your interpretation. That doesn't mean what is set 100 years ago, which does not apply right now, because slavery is wrong. I'm sure something in the rule of law said slavery was okay, but that needed to change, right? So similarly, I feel that affiliations with any political parties already makes, judges biased, and that will create these sort of situations, unfortunately. And that's not right. Because in any situation, you're sort of, if you're already aligned to something, that you're not going to give a fair trial to anyone.
Yeah. Since we're
So
within the
yeah,
topic,
things are getting challenged, things are getting changed, and we don't know how far things can get changed, right? That's the uncertainty, that's the craziness.
since we're within the topic, I guess, of culture, right, and how the dynamic of this country is changing and is shaping the culture of this country. Fun fact: by the way, I'm looking down here. I don't think you guys can see it. Like, I have some notes here that I want to talk about. Fun fact here, right? Did you know that today marks the beginning of National Arab American Heritage Month? I didn't know. I mean, and bad on me for not knowing this
Wow,
earlier,
no, I did not know.
yeah,
I didn't even know there was something as an Arab. That's the
American
last thing
Heritage,
that I would
which
ever
is awesome.
expect, actually, because, you know, I've always heard about obviously the African community, the Black community, and so forth, due to all the issues, the countries that's caused them, slavery being first and foremost. So I understand recognition of them. Honestly, like Arabs are probably the last ones that I thought that they would get recognized because,
I love it, by the way,
you know,
that they are.
let's just be direct, right? We've been called terrorists our entire life. So how do you
You,
go
you,
from terrorist to say I'm going to recognize the whole month?
you,
So,
you Habibi,
um,
Habibi,
I'm not even Arab, by the
you,
way.
you're gonna give us spicy takes. Some things are gonna be clipped up, just so you know. I'm sure you already know. And then I don't know what's gonna go viral, what's not. But make sure we don't use that word because, you know, I mean, you're right. You are right in what you
Hey,
just said. I'm not
that's
taking
our
away what you're
podcast,
saying.
right? We're going to say real stuff, the real, real stuff that people want, that people are saying that they're not saying because they're worried.
Habibi,
And I'm like, honestly,
Habibi,
like, no, like, it's facts.
that's true. No, you're right.
There's
But you
always a
know,
target on the back, right?
it's
You
true.
go to the airport. You go to the airport right now. Are they gonna target Jose, or are they gonna target Muhammad? Let's be straightforward. Actually, no, they're gonna target Jose now.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, right?
I'm sorry.
They're
That's not
gonna
even
target
something to laugh.
Jose, so that was a bad example, right?
Oh,
So
that's
that's
bad.
why.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's why they're recognizing a month for Arab Americans, because now they want to target Jose, and they're like, you know what, you Arabs, you get a month. That's what
Okay.
happened.
You're right. You know what? I just want to say, why did you pick Jose as the first Hispanic name? I just,
You know how many Jose's there are in the Bronx?
well, we can't say that. Oh my God! Listen, we need our production team to clip some of this stuff because we can't just imagine
I'm
there
from
was
the Bronx,
like
by the way. I get to say things that, others may not
listen,
be able to.
Habibi. Imagine if
Yeah.
everyone starts calling everyone Muhammad. All right, like every Muslim person they see is like, oh, Muhammad on the street is Muhammad doing this,
I
Muhammad
bet
doing that.
if I go to anyone in New York City or anywhere, and I say come up with a name and they see this beard, they might go like, you're a Muhammad.
Oh,
I'm like, sure.
not after Mamdani. Now they're gonna be like Habibi. Now they're gonna say
Things are changing,
Habibi.
bro. We got an Arab American month, so things are changing.
That's true. That's true. You know what? Listen, let me quickly talk about this. Hold on. Why I brought it up. So it says
In a good
here.
way, for once, right? You got all the citizenship stuff going on,
Absolutely.
then we get that
Absolutely.
month recognition.
Absolutely, man. We love all kinds of people, and especially our brothers and sisters who are from the Arab heritage. Absolutely, I agree with you. I see here that, so like the reason why I brought it up, so it says, as April 1st marks the beginning of National Arab American Heritage Month. So institutions and universities, I'm reading this off of something I researched. Institutions and universities nationwide are launching initiatives to recognize the community's historical and ongoing contributions to the culture and the economic fabric of the U.S. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize universities and institutions are like, they're launching initiatives. I don't know how factual that is. I assume it is to some degree,
I
but
find
it's
it
good to see.
very surprising considering last year, right? There
Yeah,
was
yes,
a lot of crackdown
Colombia.
on
Yep,
protesters, a lot of them being Arab, right? Even in our turf right here in Columbia University, NYU, majority of these individuals were Arab ethnicity who were getting locked up because of they were just, it's your opinion. We have our First Amendment rights, right? But they're getting locked up, trying to be deported. Many of
I
them
mean, look at our
still,
brother.
in these situations, some of them lost their scholarships, they lost their university diploma, they weren't even getting that. They're getting blacklisted, right? I could go on and on. And it
I
wasn't
mean,
just
look at our
Arabs, it was
brother.
also many other ethnicities that were
Absolutely,
supporting
supporters.
the
Yeah,
cause.
cause.
So
But look
now
at our
for them
brother
to have an Arab
Mahmoud. Look at our brother Mahmoud
Muhammad
Khalil.
Khalil, right?
Right?
Yeah,
Like, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, like, look what happened to him. You know.
Exactly. So for the universities to try to recognize that, it's just like, first slap them around and now you're trying to maybe make bread with them. I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on. But I'm very, cynical in this sort of sense. But
Save the
hey,
spiciness. Save
honestly,
the.
it's good. It's good for positivity. It's good for hope. It's good for encouragement to have these kind of movements rather than the status quo of, okay, everything isn't working, so why bother?
Yeah, but at what cost, right? Like at what cost? Like what that you will realize, and I'm sure you agree, that the collateral damage is higher than before, right? Like there's a lot more collateral damage now, and the weight of the collateral damage and the depth of the collateral damage is so much more than what it used to be. Right now, you have them taking away your citizenship for protesting, them calling you a terrorist, or they're calling you a domestic terrorist for blocking ICE from doing what they want to do, right? Them look at our brother Mahmoud Khalil, right? Like I mean, his wife gave birth without him while he was in jail, locked up for exercising his First Amendment right? Like at what cost do we, do we let all these things happen, right? I know it needs to happen, and it's good that it is happening because that means that people are speaking out. But then the collateral damage is much more higher and it's a heavier weight than it needs to be.
Totally. I mean, that's what many are facing and being challenged with, whether they, keep at bay, keep everything normal, not sort of go against the currents, right? Not push any levers where things will go crazy on them, right? And then there are those that are like, you know what? You guys are testing our existence, our survival, so I'm gonna push back. So that's the challenge, right? You have population that are like, okay, what can we do in a population that are going to fight for their rights? And that's the only way a movement happens, and we end up protecting it. Because the more you are complacent and sit back, unfortunately, you end up losing more and more of your rights until you're like, what happened? How did I get here, right? I don't know, man. I don't think I'm capable of dealing with sort of the craziness that comes off with political office. And also, like, I do worry about corruption and how that might come at you from out of nowhere and how you have to sort of deal with it. It's a tough, it's not easy. It's not for everyone. I don't think I'm capable of it, or at least ready for that. And you have to have answers to all of all the different sort of rules, policies, and things like that. And I don't have time for what am I gonna do? Especially when there are certain aspects of political aspirations where it might contradict with your own beliefs, your own especially for me, religious identity, right? Where I'm like, well, I might lean towards certain ways that might be against against what a lot of people might want here. But hey, I'm sure there's support for anything and everything. When I look at the conservative aisle of America, where they are ready to capture Greenland, right? And they're like, anything is possible. They're like, we're going to take over Venezuela. We're going to take over Greenland. And I think one of the
Drill, baby, drill.
Mamdani actually mentioned it to basically say the Republicans' imagination about capability is like to the next level, right? It's to the stars and beyond. And the Democrats are still underground trying to just, lift off. And that actually created a spark in my head. Like, that's so true. Here they are trying to capture Greenland, and we're still like bickering in between, like, oh, what can we even accomplish? And I'm like, you gotta aim high.
It's all, brother. It's all about the money, right? At the end of the day, everything comes like that's what it comes down to, and ultimately, I think the people that get hurt are the so-called middle class, right? Like we're the ones who gets hurt. The people on the ground are the ones who get hurt. And honestly and truly, to me, it's everything about is about a money grab. Everything is about somehow, in some way, it's related or attached to money. That's just my opinion. Like, Speaking of
Yeah,
money,
I mean, money, it's like, money, politics, power, status. Unfortunately, that's always like the lingering background towards why things go the way they do,
right,
right?
right. Like we're like war, right? The war with Iran and all these other countries. That's the reason why they're doing it, not because they're bored. It's because it's a money grab, right? Like war gives more money to the government, but it hurts us at the end of
Yeah,
the
when
day.
I
Like
think
oil
at the
prices
world
are.
level, nothing makes sense to me. It's like, what is it that we need so badly that we can't sustain ourselves, right? And
Is
as
it
long as you're
Habibi?
doing fair trade with people, right? It doesn't make sense. The world doesn't make sense.
But I was telling you again, it goes back to money. And like I was telling you, speaking of money, let me throw you a fun fact, a statistic that I researched. And again, let me just, I should kind of phrase with this. Uh, Anything we throw out there, any kind of facts we throw out there, is we researched it. But at the end of the day, don't take our word for it. Absolutely do your own research. This is stuff that we researched. We leverage AI and other tools to kind of get this information. Going back to what I was telling you, did you know, since we kind of started talking about a little bit of the money part, did you know this, and I'm reading off this on my phone, that $1.46 million is essentially the magic number, according to a study that was done by Northwestern Mutual from their planning and progress study, that Americans essentially need $1.46 million to retire comfortably. I say, I got a couple of things about that. I think that, like, as crazy as it sounds, I don't have 1.46, but I think that is so true. And the reason why I'm saying that is because inflation, obviously, and like as days, I feel like back in the days, as years went by, inflation grew. I feel like inflation is making things more expensive and more pricier, like day by day now. Like before it was year by year and it's day by day. So I agree with this number, $1.46 million. I think that is true that we need nowadays to retire comfortably. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, totally. Like, that number doesn't surprise me. That number I think, is a very real number. It does say comfortably, so obviously you have to factor in
Yeah,
where you live, your lifestyle, etc. What is your current salary? I think that's what it really goes off of. And is that sustainable? Are you happy with that medium, right? So, if the average, I don't know, I think the average salary might be 40 grand, 50 grand, there might
no,
be even
no,
on the higher end, right? Nationally.
no,
So,
no. National average is like I think like
25?
25 or somewhere between 25 to 35.
That's
That's
crazy,
national average.
right? So if you're retired, the average retirement age is around 65, give or take some. Yeah, that number seems very real. If you live another 10, 20 years, especially with the way prices are going, definitely. Prices aren't going
Listen to this.
down, savings aren't going up, prices keep going up, right? So it's yeah, the math makes sense to me. And it's unfortunate because, that's
Yeah.
it's almost becomes unachievable for many, right? To be able to get to those numbers.
You know what's crazy? I'm looking at this now. It's apparently a 15% increase. 15% increase from last year. And that's essentially a $200,000 jump from last year. So that's a big number. 15% increase from last year to this year. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
think there are charts like that where they talk about like the housing market and the prices of houses and the prices of income, and it's like ridiculous, like the percentage difference to say, maybe you were making, just making a very basic, simple example, you were making, um, you know, $20,000, but a house was maybe 2-3 years worth your salary. Right now, a house is like 20 times your salary.
Yeah.
So it's like the ratio of salary increase versus house affordability of a house or whatever. It's just the multiplier effect is crazy, and
It's crazy. Yeah.
it's really unsustainable. And you hear rumors like not rumors. You see history where big civilizations, powerful civilizations, successful civilizations, and empires crumble and go out of existence. And you sort of see the trend towards that, and nothing's changing. That trajectory isn't changing.
Speaking of civilizations, let me give you another fun fact. I'm on a fun fact roll today.
You did your homework today.
Maybe. Let me tell you something. So it says the title of this one. It's the same company, Northwestern Mutual, within the same study, which is a 2026 Planning and Progress study. So if anyone wants to go check that out, it says that 20% of Gen X, not generational icons, Gen X, 20% of Gen X Americans feel that the current financial challenges have already forced them to permanently delay their retirement timelines. With over half of millennials and Gen Xers are now expecting to work in some capacity during their retirement years. That's crazy to me. You're retired and you still gotta work. I mean, I feel like that's the direction it's headed towards, but that's crazy to me.
I kind of see that right now. Even in my prior workplace experiences, and even current ones, I see people well beyond their retirement age working. And if you enjoy working, go for it. No judgment, right? You need something to keep you busy. It's how how your lifestyle was. Definitely support it. Go for it. Be happy, right? If that's what keeps your mind busy and active and sharp, right? So if that's your mindset, go for it. But if it's something that you want to retire because I spent all my life doing this. I want to spend time with my kids, my family, or go travel, or go enjoy the foods that I don't have time to, or even just take a break, relax, right? Binge watch shows, right? And when I hear something like that, I'm like,
or buy one.
Whatever your heart desires, right? You spend it on your hobby, your One Piece cards, you go. Maybe you become a trading card shop. You enjoy One Piece. You're becoming One Piece fan slowly, though.
For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, why I just randomly brought it up there. My brother. I'm not gonna say too much in detail, but my brother over here, there's a trading card game apparently called One Piece, similar to Pokemon but different kind of concept, and so he's a big collector. And so that's why I brought that up, because that would be his hobby after retirement, I assume. My assumption. But I don't want you to go down that route today.
It's 30 more years. I hope so. I'd be. I won't have to worry about that retirement plan number, because if the cards remain valuable, and there is a market for it 30 years later, imagine, right? It'll be crazy. So
Sure.
I might be fine. Maybe I could pray for that. It's really sad to hear that people at that age, and honestly, sometimes even if you wanted to work, you may not be physically able to work, right? Your body might be giving out on you, right?
Yeah.
You're not at the same level of energy where you were when you were in your 20s and your 30s. So it's that you're also capacity to be as quick and sharp and to do your job. So there are physical limitations that sometimes occur with old age, but now you're being forced to work and forced to unfortunately compete with younger generations that are going to be in the workforce. And it's it's my survival. If I don't work, I don't have food to pay and to sustain myself, and the government isn't providing me enough to do it. So it's sort of
But it's not
the good. I guess the good thing is hopefully there are families that
But it's not
will
just because
support you and take care of you.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was literally about to say that. Speaking of taking care of, I don't think people are just working like just to work or for other reasons, right, to keep up with the hobby and stuff. Number one, I think they have to work. They have no choices, which is what you were alluding to. But number two, I think also like we talked about this a little bit on the last episode. Healthcare is becoming so expensive, right? Yeah, you can call me fun fact, Shaquille. I want to throw you another fun fact. Yeah, really quick. I researched this one too, by the way. And this is the kind of near and dear to my heart. I don't know if I should say it on camera, but I'll say it, whatever. So there's a weight loss pill that's out there, and I'm bringing this up and I'm tying it back to the thing about health insurance because it kind of somewhat relates. So there's a weight loss pill out there. It says basically, listen to this. So this fact says the U.S. has just approved a new oral weight loss medication developed by Eli Lilly, right? And basically it says this marks a significant shift in the weight management sector. And we can talk about that because I have some thoughts on that in a second. Providing a highly anticipated daily pill alternative to the massively popular GLP-1 injectable drugs like Wegovy, Zepbound, and the other ones. I use some of them as well, which I will not.
What about Ozempic? That was a big one, wasn't it? Was it Ozempic?
Yeah, that's another one. That's what I won't name, unless Ozempic wants to sponsor us at some point. But
I'll let you go into details on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring that up. But why I brought that up because there's been a study. I don't know which study. I don't have that part. But there's been a study where Americans are the most obese in the world, right? And this is why like companies like Eli Lilly and all these other pharmaceutical companies are making these kind of drugs, right? Like now they're making a pill instead of injecting yourself. And so I think it goes back to the healthcare stuff that we talked about last week, and even now, right? Why people have to continue working during retirement, because one thing they also cannot afford is healthcare, and especially when it's relating to their own body. I don't know. That's just my thought, but I thought it was a fun fact to share.
Yeah, I mean, we're a good amount of the U.S. economy is a service industry, right? So we're all sitting down on a computer chair all day long, right? And then when we get home, some of us sit down and do, repeat the same, right? Sit down, watch a show, eat some food, go back to bed. So unless you're actively, incorporating exercise in your lifestyle, obesity is like, driven by what you're going to be doing most of the day. And back then, I would say, well, people were farmers, or some, had to do physical labors. They were painters. They were building houses, whatever it might be, right? So, so they used to be more fit, and obesity wasn't probably a crisis. So, naturally speaking, this will happen, and there's so much research saying obesity, right? Obviously, your diet as well. Is causing people to have all of these issues, from diabetes to cholesterol to you name it, right? My bones are giving out because I can't carry my weight anymore, right? And these are sort of shortcuts to survive at the end of the day, to say, all right, well, how do I control this weight? How do I remain healthy, be productive, be active, and continue to do this, rather than, those that have sort of cracked the code and said, are in a, disciplined manner of living lifestyle where they are eating right and gymming and everything else. So it's part to, people are part to blame for their lifestyle. I'm not going to say, okay, but you do what you got to do to survive at the end of the day, right? And take care of yourself, so that way, if you do need to work post-retirement, that's what you got to do. And the unfortunate thing is that we never know if these things have their own side effects, right? Where you went for, okay, I want to get healthy, but then it created some other disease or problem in your body, and now you have a shorter lifespan or a horrible quality of life. So it's a double-edged sword. You never know with these things. I think Ozempic itself was sued because people that weren't diabetic, which it was targeting, right, for diabetic people to lose weight, become healthy, and so forth. Non-diabetic people were taking it. A lot of celebrities were taking it, and then they tried to sue the company because they were having issues and the company, I don't know what ended up happening with that case. If anyone does know, please comment and let us know what resulted in it or if it's still pending a decision, the lawsuit. But yeah, it's like, well, I can't blame the company because the company primarily said it's targeted for diabetics, and doctors weren't supposed to be giving it to non-diabetics. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
you
That
never know.
that's
But anything in shortcut in life, my answer always is probably not the best route, right? Live life naturally, fix any
I
bad
mean,
habits naturally,
Drake always said,
and
"You only live once, YOLO."
live once with quality,
He said it.
or and be risky and adventurous. That's I guess that's everyone's individual personality, right? And risk appetite.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I mean, I was joking. All right,
Um,
I'm done with my fun facts. I don't know if you have any, but no more fun facts. I gave a lot today. But yeah,
no,
no,
no, I don't have any.
great.
It's been fun, right? Talking about all of these things, and it's good that we
Because
could
it's
laugh about
affecting.
it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna
It's
say.
good that we could laugh about it, and there's hope that we'll overcome it all, right? I guess I'm a very hopeful person where we'll overcome it all as long as we all get together, work together, and try to find ways to, you know, work for our rights, fight for our rights, I should say, right? Whether it's getting better work-life balance, right? Because there are countries where they work less, or they have a 4-day work week, or they have things like a siesta where they like have literally 2, 3 hours in the middle of the day where they're not working, right? So there are things that have worked, that currently work, right? That people can apply to better their life, right? And not stick to the norm. And unfortunately, myself including, like a lot of people are just lazy, right? We're just used to habitual routines and we're not changing things for the better. So
Hey,
it's a combination
hold on,
of
brother.
the system is against you and there's some self-blame.
Hold on, baby. You speak for yourself. You're not lazy at all. All right. No,
Yes,
speak,
there you go.
speak,
What,
speak,
okay.
speak.
Different perspectives of different parts
Yeah,
of your life you might
listen to
be
me.
lazy
Listen to
in,
me.
right? Different parts of your life you might be
I'm
lazy in,
absolutely
or
lazy.
there might be not be as disciplined. Like for example, I have a sweet tooth. If someone brings some dessert or ice cream, it might not be the best decision for me to eat that right now, considering we're talking about obesity and weight loss pills, but you just give in because the discipline isn't there.
You know what? On behalf of Eli Lilly, I think they want you to have that sweet tooth, so then you can get diabetes and then get the weight loss pill. That's the way it's gonna work.
Oh man. No, we gotta fight ourselves and become better versions of ourselves every day, right? That's the goal.
You know what? I think that's the best way to end it here. That's a great message. We didn't do this on the last episode. I'm curious what you would say. What is one message you would give to the world?
The you tomorrow should always reflect on your past experiences as a shaper of the better you of the future, right? And you are, by being there tomorrow, you are the better version of yourself. So keep striving for it, keep gunning for it, and push yourself.
Nice, love it.
What
Okay,
about you? What would you say would be one of your takeaway messages?
my message to the viewers, to the world. I would say, uh, be you because everyone else is taken. That's what I would say. Be you because everyone else is taken. Right? There's only one you, and there's so much that you bring to the world. There's so much that each one of us have a unique, special gift, and people need that. You'll be surprised how many people need you in their lives, and and just be the best version of yourself to the best of your ability. Um, Not try to be anyone else because everyone else is taken. That would be it.
you yourself are your own identity, right? And your own contribution. Uh, cool,
Yep.
cool. All right,
All
guys.
right.
I
Well,
hope you guys like the topics that we talked about. Definitely give any feedback about what you think about weight loss pills and whether you want to take it, whether you don't want to take it, right? And where society is headed to with all the retirements, people working past retirements, whether it's a good idea, whether we can do something about changing where